Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome to Al Siraat's Digital Learning Update. At our school, we have always emphasized on the importance of using technology in the right way. This year, our use of digital learning technologies and tools have been fast-tracked because of 2 rounds of remote learning. As teachers, we want the best for our students. The role of schooling also requires us to prepare our students for the challenges of the future. So what does the future look like? Well, to start off, 85% of jobs in the future have not existed yet. This is a scary thought. There are many other research that supports greater prominence of digital technologies in the future, which will make up a sizable percentage of the jobs in the future. Due to this, schools have to evolve and adapt to the changing situation. We, as teachers, will need to adapt the way we teach, and students will have to adapt to the way they learn. Teaching to the test may not be as relevant today as how it was previously. In today's digital learning update, we will continue to focus on our staff who have embraced digital learning. In our first video, we will be looking at how digital learning is integrated in Islamic studies. Here, the teacher, Ustaz Asim Malik, conducts a lesson on the topic of non-verbal transaction. Let's have a look at this video.
Okay, Assalamualaikum everyone. So previously we were looking at the transaction, and in the transaction we discovered and we covered that in order for a transaction to be acceptable, there has to be an offer and there has to be acceptance from the other party. If there's no offer, then how can we make acceptance? If there's an offer but no acceptance, we can't consider that to be mutual agreement. So in order for us to have mutual agreement, we need to have an offer and acceptance. However, things get a bit different when it comes to an unspoken contract. So what's an unspoken contract? Well, an unspoken contract is basically you picking up an item and you walking over to the salesman or to a self-serve checkout, just like you see in Coles, and you pay for the item for what it's costing you, and you bag it and you walk away. All of that takes place without anyone talking. The salesman didn't ask you if you wanted to buy it because it's intended that you wanted to buy it by you bringing the product to him, right? And in the self-serve checkout, you're not asking for the price because when you scan it, the price is being told to you. No one's telling you the price, and you've picked up the item knowing what the price is as well off the shelf. So no one's talking there. There is no speaking happening. So essentially an unspoken contract doesn't involve much talking about what's going on, but we can see that acceptance is there due to the fact that you're carrying out that action and you're doing what is intended. So now we're going to look at an example of what an unspoken contract looks like, and we will see what are the do's, and then we'll look at the examples of what are the don'ts. So everyone, as you can see in the 2 scenarios, the first one, there was a valid transaction there because I did pick up an item from the shelf, and that was pretty much an indirect offer to me, right? And then I went to the self-serve checkout, I accepted it because I scanned the product and I paid for it and I walked out. So that showed my acceptance. In the next 2 examples though, I didn't quite do that. There was an offer, and the offer is obviously the item is available to you. I picked up those items, but I didn't accept the terms. What were the terms? I didn't accept the price. I didn't accept to this product being something that I have to pay for. I just grabbed it and I walked out with it. Or I grabbed one item and I paid for it, and then I took along with me so many other items. So we can see here how these 2 scenarios at the end, they didn't really quite make it permissible for us to use these items later on because I've technically stole them. So we can see in the first scenario it was good, and the second two there were aspects of impermissibility. So I hope this sums up what an unspoken contract is about. It's about two people, or it could be one person, accepting an offering of something, but there's not really any communication happening there. There's no talking going on. An unspoken contract isn't a secret contract with its terms and conditions, so don't confuse that. It's more of when we're doing a transaction and no one's talking. Thank you.
Thank you for the fantastic lesson, Ustaz Asim. If you compare the video to a typical classroom lesson, the digital content video will have a much greater impact on our students' learning. With visuals to support his explanation, this lesson becomes easier for students to relate to. Besides that, this video will then be made available in Google Classroom, which will allow students to revisit the concepts again and again. This will also help with revision. Alright, let's now move on to a digital content for grade 3 science. In the next video, we have Mr. Adam Samon sharing how he uses the green screen to teach the life cycle of a mosquito. Let's have a look.
Hello and welcome to today's lesson on life cycles. Today we're going to focus on the mosquito. This is the mosquito. The mosquito belongs to the category of insects. So like all life cycles, they start with the egg. And you can see here, a mosquito can lay up to 200 eggs at one time. That's a lot of eggs. And these eggs will lay dormant. That means they won't hatch until they come into contact with water. Once the eggs go into water, they will go to the second stage of the life cycle, which is called the wriggler stage. Why is it called the wriggler? Just look. That's what they do all the time. The interesting about this wriggler stage is, if you look right there, is that they have that breathing apparatus. That is what helps the wriggler to breathe underwater. How many of you have gone snorkeling before? If you have gone snorkeling, you would know that you use the snorkel to help you breathe underwater. That's the same logic as the breathing apparatus that's on the wriggler. After this stage will be the third stage. For the third stage, they turn into the pupa. Now this is the most boring stage for us. But for the mosquito, this is the most happening stage. This is where they start to develop their adult body parts, their wings, their legs, and this is where they eventually become, ta-da, the adult mosquito.
Thank you for the engaging lesson, Mr. Adam. You can see that digital content lessons are more engaging and also fun for your students. The students will love seeing their teachers on the screen, teaching and even acting as part of the lesson. With digital content videos, we can now have time in class to reinforce learning concepts. That's extra time to focus on what our students know and what they do not know. It is also time to provide feedback to our students on their learning. In the long run, we are building student capacity in independent learning, which is a key trait and skills required for the 21st century. We have now come to the end of today's update. I would like to thank the teachers who have stepped forward and shared their lessons with us. We value all the hard work of our teachers in delivering quality lessons and preparing our students for the challenges of tomorrow. To add to that, a big thank you for delivering our promise to every single Al-Siraat family, which is to ensure that our learning resources is accessible and transparent. Most importantly, we want to reach every student in every class every day. I'll see you again next week. Assalamu alaikum.